Hello everyone, I'm Lisa and I've just blown in. And today we are back with more Dragon Age Origins. Last time we were reading Codex entries, but there were quite a few, so I decided to break this up into two videos. So last time we left off on the Valsalyn and blood riding, and now we're going to continue on in Culture and History with entry 99, History of Soldier's Peak, Chapter 1. In other words, this is DLC content. The Grey Warden base at Soldier's Peak was built in the middle of the Glory Age, several decades after the Second Blight was ended. Before then, the Grey Wardens in Ferelden would take up residence in the castle and forts that belonged to generous nobles. Warden Commander Gaspar Austrian desired a fortified headquarters where his forces could train and live. Because, that could be super useful, He planned that Soldier's Peak would be a city unto itself, which is actually kind of awesome. The defeat of the Dark Spawn and the Archdemon Zezekiel was fresh in the minds of the Ferelden people, and many were willing to donate gold to build the Commander Austrian's fortress. Soldier's Peak was fully completed within 10 years, and dedicated to the Maker in 934 Glory. From the History of the Grey Wardens in Ferelden by Brother Janitivich Antriskala. History of Soldier's Peak, Chapter 2. As he approached his 60th year, rumors swirled that the corruption of the Warden Commander Austrian's blood was beginning to take its toll. Wow, he had to be really old. According to reports from the time, the commander experienced terrifying waking dreams and hearing his name whispered from the dark corners of Soldier's Peak. It is said that Austrian would spend hours locked up and alone in the great hall of the base, muttering to himself, though no one was ever able to make out what he was saying. Many also believe that Austrian began, in secret, to draw up plans to expand his fortress, adding to it hidden passages and alcoves, all to protect himself from the shadows that pursued him. Yeah, what Ulrika and Alistair have to look forward to in the future. Yay! No one knows whether Austrian was able to complete his project. Well, now I kind of want to go see. For his deterioration had become obvious to anyone who spent any amount of time with him. He was quickly replaced by Warden Commander Frida Hallwick. Austrian was taken to Orzammar, where he submitted to the calling, the last rite of the Grey Wardens, and went to his death with honor. From the History of the Grey Wardens in Ferelden by Brother Janitivich Antriskala. Yay! History of Soldier's Peak, Chapter 3, Entry 101. Because this is the base introductory course. After Austrian's death, the rumors and theories became increasingly outlandish. One of the more ridiculous rumors was told by Austrian's infatuation with an elven princess of lore, whom he was trying to resurrect in secret ritual chamber through the use of blood magic and the princess's favorite food, raspberry jam. Oh god, I hope that jam I ate wasn't that old. Warden Commander Frida Hallwick launched a thorough investigation to Austrian's secret plans, but was unable to uncover the evidence that anything in Soldier's Peak had been changed, except for lots of jars of jam. Commander Hallwick declared that rumors about Austria were a slight of his memory, and that anyone found repeating them would be harshly punished. The stories were thus silenced. From the History of the Grey Wardens in Ferelden by Brother Janitivich Antriskala. Yay! And also, Grey Wardens, maybe, a touch more accountability in your hierarchy. I get you guys have a really hard job, but, stop covering things up. It's creepy. History of Soldier's Peak, Chapter 4, Entry 102. There was one mystery, however, that persisted, and this mystery perplexed even the Commander Hallwick herself. When Commander Austrian went to his calling in the deep roads, he did not have in his hand his sword, Austrian's Might, forged for him by dwarven smiths and presented to him upon the completion of Soldier's Peak. Nor did he pass the sword on to a successor, or to any other Grey Warden. Aww, somewhere there's a really cool, awesome sword. We need to go find it. While some maintained that Austrian had simply destroyed the sword in his dotage, others believed he had stashed it away somewhere in Soldier's Peak. One young warden claimed that Austrian had once grabbed him by the shoulders, fixed him with an unwavering gaze, and said, "The sword will remind you what it is to be a warden. Speak your oath to me when the shadows come. You must speak the words." What this was supposed to mean was never made clear, because, his mind was starting to go. which is sad, but it happens. From the History of the Grey Wardens in Freldon by Brother Janet T, Church Scholar. Yay! And that is everything under culture and lore. Or culture and history, I should say. I know what things are called. Shush. Anyway, onward. Let's step down to quest related for a second. And let us see what is to be had. Because we have Unbound. And, okay, these are the entries about people becoming revenants. Give me a moment while I try to figure out which ones we've read and which ones we haven't. Or is this something else? Okay, I actually think this is something else. My apologies. Because there are some of these entries that will update several times throughout the game. The writers follow after every town, ever since my lucky break at deciphering the story. I see it now, how they take the locals closest to me, preventing rest or kinship. I thought this a road to glory, but I am dogged at every step by his talons. Gaxkang. Curse his name the day I heard it. Journal excerpt from an unnamed, long-dead adventurer. Aww. 3 weathered parchments with 3 versions of the same exact incomplete story. Excerpt. And when his kingdom fell, so disappeared the stolen riches of an age. The beast, the unbound, dormant until one true spirit claims his throne. So must the hunt the hero of his people, the principled who would search the ancient evil. This is how they can make real difference. Scribbled in the corner, shaky hand. 3 pages, 3 ages, same story, updated. Same as a tavern song, but older. Signature torn on purpose, but compared and get Vil Madon. All from him? How? Yeah, something is afoot here. Next, we're going to go over to 328, Scroll of the Banister. Which, okay, I think this is the actual one I was thinking about. To align with power of the Fade is but the first of many steps. Further is to align the mind to the Fade's rules and find ties between the realm of dream and the realm of flesh. This is true power of blood magic. The flesh and the mind are inseparable, and therein lies the power to influence and control minds. Below the text are indecipherable runes and stains of blood and ink. Yeah, good times. First entry. Others may speak of the sanctity of the mind. To those who know the true power of blood, this is foolishness. The mind is no more sacred than the knee or small toe or the ear. It is the man's organ of reasoning, nothing more. And the true reasoning requires connection to the rhythm of the blood, the tireless pounding of life. Interrupt this, and even the mind is yours to control. Below the text is a diagram of blood magic ritual in progress, with no notation or description. So, I kind of wish they would have given you the picture of this. I kind of want to see it. Even though I am a dwarf and cannot do magic. In the Fade dwell creatures both foul and fair, but all plagued mankind with lust and prides incalculable than our ways of waking hours. Our power attracts them, and for good reason. Our unique bridge of flesh between the dreams is one way they can enter the realm of flesh. To begin the path of true power, court these poor, terrible creatures and best them, force them into servitude and pledge our heart to them. Either way, you gain immense power, and the means with which to tear holes in the world. Below the text is scribbled in the margin are arcane symbols drawn with blood. Cheery. Yay. Blood magic bad? Anyway, what to do next? Notes, there's quite a bit. Books, there's not that much. Characters, there's not that much. Okay, let's start with characters. 183, Shale. What can I say? I have a heart of stone. And eyes, and toes, and fingers. The golems of Orzammar once made up the vanguard of the dwarven army, holding back the tides of darkspawn that flooded out of the deep roads. But the art of making them was lost, and many of them succumbed to wear and damage of battle. Shale has no memories of either of the time spent fighting in the deep roads, or of coming to Honolith, only a few spotty, and bitter, recollections of its last master. Ulrika nursed Shale's control odd, and awakened it, adding a bitter malfunctioning golem to the menagerie of companions. Aw, Shale's not that bad. She's kind of awesome. I dare. 300 years earlier, she had been Shale of House Kadash, warrior of King Voltar, and a volunteer who chose to dedicate her life to all of the defense of Orzammar. Yeah, Shale is kind of badass. What more can we say? Next, entry 188. Keeper Zathrian. He was kind of not awesome. Even with all our magic and skill, we only delay the inevitable. You know, or you can make things better. And scrolling. It is said that the elves lived in Ferelden long before any others set foot there, and thought most of their knowledge had been lost. It falls to the keeper of each clan to preserve what they have. Zathrian is an old, severe elf with little love for the outsiders. True, but his clan is facing a more terrifying enemy than most. I mean werewolves. I mean darkspawn. He had many enemies. Long ago, in retribution for an attack against his clan, he unleashed a terrible curse. He summoned a spirit into this world and set it upon the humans who had wronged him. That is grotesquely oversimplifying. The spirit did not simply slaughter Zathrian's enemies, it transformed them into monstrous beasts. In time, however, the werewolves he had created regained their minds, and they sought out the one responsible for their suffering, turning the curse upon Zathrian's own people, again grotesquely oversimplifying. At the urging of the Lady of the Forest, Ulrika persuaded Zathrian to give up his own life, returning the werewolves to their human forms, and saving the elves who had been inflicted with the curse. Because Ulrika's cool like that. Next, entry 190, Witherfang, who is kind of forever bound to Zathrian. Witherfang is, according to the keeper Zathrian, a wolf. Ha ha! So much more. He is no ordinary wolf, however. He is wolf possessed by a powerful spirit and the source of the werewolf curse that plagued the Brazilian forest. Yeah. Among other things, he is also a lady. While Witherfang is hundreds of years old and very powerful in his own right, the only way to end his curse is to cut out his heart and bring it to Zathrian. It appears that Witherfang has two sides, as nature does. One is the wolf, savage and male, but the other is the Lady of the Forest, gentle and female. 'Cause, you know, lady, darn it. Witherfang is both beast and beauty, terrible and peace-loving. The lady has guided the werewolves of the Brazilian forest to come to peace with their nature, as she has. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, 191. Sophia Dryden. Yay! Sophia Dryden is Ferelden's light and her most brilliant jewel. Nothing on this earth can ever quench her fire. Except for me. Although that was actually a spirit inhabiting her corpse, but you know, it's different things. Arlessa Sophia Dryden was the young Ireland's rival to the throne of Ferelden. Dryden was a strong and charismatic leader with much support from the Banneron. When Ireland finally won the crown, Dryden refused to relent. She pushed her claim, was caught and accused of treason. Her sympathizers continued to support her, however. In order to appease them, Dryden was spared execution and forced to join the Grey Wardens instead. 'Cause let's give someone with charisma and good warrior skills in the Wardens. Nothing will ever go wrong from that. Nothing. Dryden survived the joining and dazzled the Grey Wardens at Soldier's Peak with her leadership skills and charm. Like I said, nothing can go wrong with placing her there. Nothing. She eventually rose through the ranks to become the Warden Commander of Ferelden. Before Commander Dryden, the Grey Wardens were seen as a relic of an older time, an unnecessary drain on the nobles' coffers. Dryden, though, with her political connections, reinvigorated the Wardens and readily increased their numbers. So, on the one hand, she was probably best for the Wardens, but she really should have had some oversight. 'Cause, yeah, she kind of became a charismatic madwoman toward the end. In the meantime, King Arlen proved himself a devious king, willing to go to brutal lengths to silence his opponents. Arlen's reign of terror grew worse with each passing year, and some of the bands approached Commander Dryden in desperation, begging her to intercede. She agreed, and thus was the rebellion against King Arlen born. Arlen learned of the rebellion and took steps to end it. He publicly suspended all teething to the Grey Wardens and declared that they were no longer welcome in Ferelden. Yeah, 'cause that didn't come back to bite them. Some of the Wardens, mindful that they were supposed to remain politically neutral, felt disgraced by Dryden's involvement in Ferelden politics and left her side even as the king's forces laid siege to Soldier's Peak. As they should, 'cause, yeah, this is something the Wardens really aren't supposed to do. And this is why. The siege took months and ended with the death of Sophia Dryden. From the personal files of Levi Dryden, merchant. At Andon, King Arlen had driven the Grey Wardens from Ferelden, and after the siege of Soldier's Peak, the base was abandoned when the Soldier's Peak was finally entered again for the first time in centuries. It was discovered that Sophia Dryden had been possessed by a demon. Yeah, and we kind of send it back to the Fade. Where it belongs. Go us. What to do next? Let's do books and songs next. And we are going to begin with entry 205, The Tales of Eloren. In the days after the rising of Zezekiel, the Dark Ones covering every corner of the land, the archdemon drove all the nations of the world before him, Shemblin and Elvan alike. Yeah, not good times. In the north, where the hills wander the plains and the earth is eternal, baked beneath the uncaring sun, the lands which the Shemblin call the Anderfels, a clan of our people lived, struggling to survive the blight. Iliorn was their keeper, a hunter in his younger days. Crafty as any wolf, he led his people always just ahead of the Darkspawn who chased them. But the old hunter knew that even the Hala cannot run forever, and they must turn and fight or be run down. At the foot of the Meridane, the Darkspawn cornered Elan's clan. In the night, the moon was strangled by clouds, the earth concealed by a drained mist that rose out of the nowhere, so that the Elvan could not tell up from down. In the confusion, the Darkspawn attacked. But Ilorn had prepared for them. All around the camp, the hunters had strewn dry grass, brush, and brambles. When the sound of rustling footfalls began, Ilorn and the other Haran called upon old magic. They struck out with lightning, and though the bolts missed the Darkspawn, they hit their targets all the same. The sea of kindling lit, and not one of the dark creatures made it through the fire to reach Elrond's clan. That's actually kind of ingenious and a testimony to trap making. If you are patient/skilled enough to actually take that tree route and actually use traps properly. I, however, am not such a player that it is a valuable/useful skill, so I always kind of skip over it. From the Tales of Irlion, written by Zathrion, it has been passed down from keeper to keeper for generations, and now it's mine. So gonna sell it one day. Anyway, entry 217, in Uthanara. Ha-harenna malan salin, Emma abalasa, Sovereign isala hamin, Venanhim de thalas, in Uthra naravas. Vir sahal nahal, vir derthrera, vir samhar lanuma, vir la savanim. Translated from the Elven tongue, which I have probably butchered terribly. Elder, your time has come. Now I am filled with sorrow. Weary eyes need resting. Heart was becoming gray and slow. In waking sleep is freedom. We sing, rejoice. We tell the tales, we laugh and cry. We loved one more day. From Enuthanara, tradition of Elven song, unknown origin. Entry 226, Sophia Dryden's journal. 21st, Iluvista. It is done. The nobles have thrown their lot in with Arland. Arland the snot-nosed man-child. Arland who did not walk till he was his 5th year. Arland who had not pied off his nursemaid's breast for 2 years ago. How do you know that? Or is this all hyperbole? It might be hyperbole. Or so it is whispered. Ah, it's rumor. The tyrants of the Arls believe him to be a simpleton and easily led, but I have seen something in the boy's eyes that it terrifies me. Oh wait, is this when he was a kid still? Oh. 10. Maurice. I watch the summer day processions from a room high in Fort Dracon. The regent has me for treason, when my only guilt is of being true to my country and my heart. You're a Grey Warden. You're not supposed to care about those things as much. My guard's tongue was easily loosened with a gift of a ruby ring. Shouldn't they have confiscated your stuff before incarcerating you exactly to prevent stuff like this? And I am told that the bands are fighting against my sentence. I shall pray, but not hope that it will be anything but gallows for me. Or, you know, you'll become an abomination. 2. Firvenentis. The drought was like bitter fire, but I survived. Weep for me, for I survived. Would that they had made a clean end of me. I should have died a lady. The greatest of the Dryadens. Not lived to become this nothing, this monstrous thing. Oh, okay, is this when she became a warden? Wow. 19. Matronalis. Enough. I shall waste no more time with wretched womanish laminations. 'Cause being girly is dumb. Death would have been easy, but fate saw fit to separate me, and I will seize upon this chance. The Grey Wardens are an army, and the old commander is weak. A wisp of a man. I will inspire the Wardens, and Arlen will rue the day he spared my life. Yeah, this is why you shouldn't give a charismatic madwoman an army. And also, Ulrika totally doesn't see any parallels to herself and her brother, who is kind of dead now because of her. Select entries from the Journal of Warden Commander Sophie Dryden. In an all way does not parallel Ulrika's real-world life. No, none. La 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 la. Moving on. Notes. La 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 la. Anyway, a carved elven tablet. Carved elven tablet, entry 234. 4 panels reproduced here appear to be a part of a much larger ritual. And actually, if you remember, we did this ritual. It is how we unlock the one door. The topmost panel shows a jug overflowing with water. Standing on an altar, 3 elves in robes are positioned round the altar, while a crowd of elves in warlike regalia stand just slightly apart from them. Just below is a depiction of all the elves, those in robes and those in armor, prostrating themselves before the altar with worshipful expressions. Third from the top is a carving which shows one of the 3 robed figures, a woman with an elaborate tattoo on her face, drinking from the jug on the altar while the others elves watch. The bottom image shows the tattooed woman standing in waist-deep in a pool of water. She holds the jug with water spilling out of its mouth. The armored elves bow before her, describing a strange tablet. And this is how you're supposed to figure out how to do that ritual in the room where there's the fountain and the altar. Or as I think of it, I've played this so many times, I just know how to do this. So I didn't actually read this at the time. Although I think this is the entry I was looking for. For some reason, I thought I could just go to the item, instead of having to go into notes. Like I said, I am by no means an expert at this game, I just really enjoy it. Anyway, moving on, entry 238. A letter from Ban Muthion Wolf. Sophia. Arl Rahan and his entire family have been slaughtered, even the children. Whoa. Okay. I get why we got kicked out of here for a while. The round line is no more, and the Arling belongs to the crown, for now. Arlen believed Round was plotting against him. Round criticized the king, spending him on Winter's End. That is all. It was an idle word spoken out of turn. The king goes too far. His brain is filled with madness, and he clings to the crown like a drowning man clutches at a straw. Sophia, I beg you, help us. If nothing is done, more will suffer. Your humble servant, Wolf. So yeah, people wanted Sophia's help, but Sophia also should have realized she was not in a position where she should have helped. As much as she loves her country, she put country above the wardens, and unfortunately, the way the wardens are structured, that is when things go wrong. It's also why we probably got kicked out of Ferelden for a long time. Which means we had no presence when the Blight here started, which is why things are kind of screwed up. Well, part of the reason. I'll be the first person to acknowledge there's, other reasons. Anyway, 239. Avernus's notes. Let's read the scribblings of a madman, shall we? The taint allows us to sense the darkspawn. The longer we survive with the taint in our blood, the more potent it becomes. Unfortunately, this corruption will eventually overwhelm the warden. Over time, it devours both mind and body, leaving nothing. But what if the spread of the corruption could be stopped, or contained in some way? What if the warden could become more powerful without having the power kill him? How great would that power be? Would it be enough to stop the demons? I don't know, would it? The joining ritual is crude. We take into ourselves the blood of the darkspawn in the most obvious way. Well, yeah, it's true. Most die from the corruption immediately. It is, after all, poison. Which is why you should have a high constitution score. Or a DM that's willing to fudge the rules so you can pass. Otherwise, there's no story. There must be some way to refine the joining. Isolate the true power that is found in the darkspawn blood, and leave behind the evil that kills us. Maybe. I can feel the corruption starting to take its toll on my body. I must not succumb. There is too much work to be done. I feel the same way whenever I get a cold. The cold always wins. Though my magic, I've been able to slow its inevitable spread, but not stop it completely. I am starting to hear things even while awake. A voice more beautiful than any other, that calls to me from the depths. In my dreams I see the Black City, and I am drawn towards it. There is something there, an answer to what this taint is, this taint that we share with the Darkspawn, from the notes of Avernus. So in other words, he should probably think about starting his calling soon. Which is sad, because we're going to lose a lot of information. At the same time, he's not a nice man, and I refuse to feel sorry for him. Because, he kind of killed his fellow wardens, and that's not okay. Entry 240, a plea from Commander Athlar. However it's pronounced. Soldier's Peak is more than we bargained for. There is sinister magic at work here. Yeah, because the wardens kind of access to mages. And one of them is really super scary. The men are seeing things that cannot tell nightmares from reality. The fallen return to life to attack again and again. Yeah, we saw that firsthand. And we are assaulted by dark creatures the likes of which I have never seen. Whoever's responsible is intent on destroying us all. The King's army and the Grey Wardens both. Send help. We cannot last much longer. Commander Athlar. Yeah, not good times. Entry 242, the Black Vials. And this is another one of those ones that forever extends. So I think we did that. I think we did third, fourth. We commend both spirit and host for inviting the Walker. Doug Walker? He's here? With solemn hearts we bind you to our true name, Shamas Godsoon. Revenant and Pivenant Persian of rare friendship, regret holds more pain than burying the dead. Andraste forgive you, brother, and bind your weakness for eternity. 5 thumbprints in blood mark the end of the text. Yeah, another person is taken for the Revenants. And we're gonna keep killing them every chance we get, 'cause no. just know you're dirtying up loot, and loot is sacred. It is one of the few things Ulrika 100% believes in. The sanctity of loot. Entry 244. 244. Entry 243. Correspondus interruptus. One moment while I figure out which one we read. Okay. I think there's 2 here I haven't read. But if I have read them before and I'm reading the wrong ones, my apologies. Miss Ambrose. Do you know, are you related to Dean Ambrose from WWE? Are you part of the Lunatic Fringes family? A long, slow grind, the motion careful, aided by generous applications of oils. Size is no concern with my equipment, and I am always mindful when stuffing, not risking a burst before every order is fulfilled. My meat goes hand in hand with satisfaction. Oh, innuendo! Your interest astounds, but it is not mine to question a customer's choice in nighttime reading. 3 pounds of sausage again next week? No cheek. Of course, yours, Biller's Butcher. My elf fruit. The herbalist suggested powder Bronto horn. I was very discreet. Your sunflower. Aww. Yay! And with that, we have completed all of the Codex entries. Yay! So next time we can actually move on and do quest stuff. But since there's still some time left in the session, let's go talk to people. Win, what you doing? Hey, you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This is about Arnon, I assume.
Yes. You led me to an area.
Yep.
You persisted, even though I was sure all you were going to find was a dead end.
I'm kind of awesome like that. Also, get out your staff. You've talked about this. It always feels good to get resolution. Not always, no. It could have went much worse if her former apprentice actually held a grudge. It's just nice it worked out well this time.
I will never be able to repay you for what you've done.
Sure you can. You heal and you res and you're
Allow me
awesome.
to bring that chapter of my life to a close. I feel free.
Cool.
A great weight has been lifted off my
Aw,
heart.
happy to help.
It feels like the moment before the sunrise, when all the world is still, holding its breath, waiting for first light.
Aw.
I can stop thinking about my past and look forward to the future. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Always have my gratitude.
Aw. Happy I could help you, Win. Actually, shouldn't I have gotten approval for that? Huh. Weird. Because you figure I would get a lot of approval. Oh well. Anything else to say?
You're quite taken with each other, aren't you?
What now? You know about Alistair and me? I thought we were so subtle, you know, only making out in camp.
It's hard not to notice the doe-eyed looks he gives you.
True.
Especially when he thinks no one's watching.
Oh, I know, I catch him all the time.
It's too sweet for my tastes.
Aw.
And I'm an old lady who should be making lace hearts and fuzzy blankets with animal motifs.
Well, you do that. As much as I want to say 3, that's not their relationship. You're not like the average old lady. You're awesome. You have healing magics.
No, I won't be making socks with pom-poms for you anytime soon.
Aww.
But that's
I
hardly
mean, what
my
socks
thing.
with pom-poms?
I've noticed your blossoming relationship, and I wanted to ask you where you thought it was going.
Uh,
Alistair is a fine lad,
yes.
skilled in battle, but quite inexperienced when it comes to affairs of the heart.
I know.
I would hate to see him get hurt.
Hey, well, I am a nice person. Sometimes, when it suits me. When people haven't pissed me off. Are you saying I might hurt Alistair?
Not intentionally, no. But there is great potential for tragedy here.
Oh.
One or both of you. You are a Grey Warden.
Yep.
You have responsibilities which supersede your personal desires.
But do they have to? Really? I can handle my responsibilities and my relationships. I mean, I've been doing a bang-up job so far.
Love is ultimately selfish. It demands that one be devoted to a single person who may fully occupy one's mind and heart to the exclusion of all else.
And?
A Grey Warden cannot afford to be selfish.
True.
You may be forced to make a choice between saving your love and saving everyone else. And then what would you do?
Be awesome? You're making things sounds... one or two. Thing is, she would know sometimes a hard choice has to be made. It's part of, she's a former princess. At the same time, 3 is kind of out of the blue because she actually does appreciate Wynn taking her time to say, hey, I'm concerned about this, because it is very, very valid. You're making things sound more dire than they are.
Nothing is certain. Not in these times. You cannot take anything for granted. I want you to be aware of
Yes, ma'am. I'll consider what you've said, because it is valid. It is why Ulrika is taking this so well, because, yeah, it's totally a valid opinion to have.
I am just trying to minimize the suffering that may come to either of you.
I know.
I have given my advice. Do with it what you will.
I will. I'm gonna go make off Al. Anything else?
What's on your mind?
Circle.
I will answer to the best of my ability.
You do that. Okay, you have nothing else. Thank you, Wynn. Let me go check in with my other buddies. Hey, Zev. What you up to?
What is your desire?
I don't think we have anything new for him, because I don't think I've raised his approval any. Well?
I was just thinking about what happened to the elves.
Really?
I'm reminded of a song.
Really?
Years
It's
ago.
song time?
It was when my mother died, and this wise elven woman comforted me
Oh?
and told me that we shouldn't fear death or hate it. Death is just another beginning. One
Oh?
day, we must all shed our earthly bodies to allow our spirits to fly free.
Well, Lil, I'm a dwarf, so... As interesting as your concept is, the idea of, air quotes, flying free as a spirit does not really appeal to me. Because, number 4, we believe that we return to the stone and become ancestors.
And thus you embark upon another journey.
Yep.
Death is just the gateway.
Exactly. Where are you going? Can I say what's your music? Well, are you a princess? Okay, this is happening. Pretty. Ordinarily, I would join in on the sing-along, but as you've heard me butcher Elvish trying to read the codexes, I'm just gonna let the voice actor / singer that recorded this do the song, because I would butcher it. Aw. Even Morgan's like, what the fuck is she doing? Wow, I'm so short compared to you. Aww. Even Sten is appreciating this. That was beautiful. Thank you, Lil. Never do that again. That was weird. I don't like being thrown into cutscenes.
Something I can help with?
You have a very pretty voice. Let's talk about things.
What's on your mind?
Tales?
Of course I do. I love stories far too
Plymouth,
much to
other
keep them to myself.
stories.
Which one?
Shartan, Andraste. Okay, we've heard all
It
these.
will come to you soon. I'm
Bye-bye.
sure.
We gotta go. So, Ogren, that song, huh? Pretty, no?
Just leave me alone, Warden. Seriously.
I don't wanna. Why? Are you upset about something? You know, because it hasn't been that long since we kind of killed his wife.
Upset? Ugh. I don't get upset. I get drunk.
We should go get drunk
You
then.
want to talk about something?
Yes, let's talk about getting drunk. I'd like to know more about you.
What about?
Second thought, maybe some other
All
time.
right.
We'll talk more later.
Aye. All right then.
Aw, he improved by 2. Actually, inventory. Do I have anything for you? Actually, I do have something for him. And, you know, as our newest companion, I think it's only time he receives some gifts. So, here, have a legacy white shear. Om nom nom.
By my ancestors, this is a wonderful gift.
You're welcome. Like I said, I will get you drunk if you let me. Let's save, since we went up by 12 approval. See if we cannot get him to freaking love me yet.
What you need?
Actually, I'm gonna cut the video here.
All right then.
Because I just saw how long we've been going, and I still want to talk to everyone in camp. And I do actually want time to go press on into the main story again. So I'm going to cut the video here, and when we come back, we'll do some camp conversations, and then we'll be breaking camp and moving on. So until next, tack ligatilok hedo.